Now for the top story tonight, reaction joining us from Washington, Howard Kurtz. And from Miami, Bernard Goldberg, both are Fox News analysts. So Bernie, we begin with you. Am I making any mistakes here?
On the factual matter, I completely agree with you on your theory that the New York Times consciously had a pro-Hillary agenda. I don't know. Could be. But as you know, Bill, there is never a smoking gun memo that says, let's help the liberals and hurt the conservatives. But I think the reason so many people think the way you do about this, two main reasons anyway. The first reason, on the main conclusion in the 7,000-word New York Times piece that al-Qaeda wasn't involved, you're right. There are many responsible people in responsible positions who don't agree with that. And one of those responsible people is a liberal Democrat on the House Select Intelligence Committee, a liberal Democrat who flat out says al-Qaeda was involved. The second reason is that was Adam Schiff in California. The second reason is that the New York Times has let's call it a credibility problem, mainly with conservatives. The paper went easy on Barack Obama when he ran for president. There's a strong suspicion they're going to go easy on Hillary when she runs, and not just on the editorial page. And because of that, and because of the McCain example that you correctly gave, a page-one story with no proof implying that he had this affair, the New York Times over the years has squandered a lot of its credibility, and I think that's why you and others,
I didn't even come at it like
whether
that.
There's an agenda or not, I know, but I'm saying, well, let's just say others.
Okay.
Whether there's an agenda or not, believe there is.
Okay, now let's get to Kurtz, who worked for the Washington Post and knows about the bureaucracy of these newspapers. There are 10 managing or associate editors on the masthead of the New York Times. 10. And then there's the overall editor, Jill Abramson, an avowed liberal woman, who has taken the paper since she took it over, way to the left, all right? Okay, and you're telling me, Kurtz, that 10 editors who read this article in advance, none of them would say, you know what? The Pentagon contradicts this. None of them do that? That's impossible.
Some of the reporting here may be flawed. You pointed to a serious omission, Bill. But this was a serious attempt at journalism done over many months with many on-the-record interviews, including with the prime suspect in the case. And you're sophisticated enough to know, Bill, that even though the Times has a very liberal editorial page, that you don't have your Cairo bureau chief spend months on a story, which, by the way, didn't mention Hillary Clinton at all, in order to help a likely presidential candidate 2 years from now. It's not the way newsrooms work.
Oh, you're kidding me, right? You're kidding me. You actually believe that this story, all right, is a serious piece of journalism? When you leave out the central tenet of what you're trying to say, no al-Qaeda involvement, you leave out the assessment of the Pentagon, and you're telling me that's serious?
I said that was a serious omission, but even if you accept, and I know you don't, but even if you accept every sentence in this New York Times story as true, it paints a portrait of a compound in Libya that was left dangerously undefended, woefully unprepared. It does not make the administration look good. It does not make Hillary Clinton look good.
I'm not saying it does that. It basically, though, what it does make the administration look credible, because it goes back to the videotape, which is what Susan Rice came out with, and why Republicans and some conservatives went wild, and says, yeah, the videotape was the reason, which is the two main things, Kurtz, the two main things, al-Qaeda and the tape, are wrong. Wrong. All right?
Whether or
according to almost every intelligence expert in the world, this Ansar al-Sharia group has ties with al-Qaeda. And they don't even mention it.
Whether or not this group has ties with al-Qaeda or not, they were local extremists out to kill Americans.
They've got to mention the other side, and they did not. All right. I'm giving, God help me, I'm giving Goldberg the last word on this, Goldberg. You got it.
Well, if you conclude that al-Qaeda was not involved at a time, by the way, President Obama was running for re-election, in part saying that al-Qaeda was on the run. So if you conclude that al-Qaeda was not involved and you leave out credible evidence to the contrary, it makes you wonder. That's all I'm saying. It makes you wonder about whether they had motives or not. Now, I happen to agree with Howard that 2 years out, they're not sitting there and having a secret meeting where they pull down the shades and give the secret salute and say, let's do something to help Hillary. I don't believe that happened either.
They don't do that.
They never do that. They never do that.
They want an article with a certain flavor. That's what they want.
But my point is, Bill, that when you leave out important things and you're already under suspicion, again, mainly by the right, they are not going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Well, I think I shredded that article here in 3 minutes and 33 seconds on this program, and I'll stand with what we did. Gentlemen, thanks very much. 2 footnotes. Howard Kurtz can be seen Sundays, 11 a.m., Media Buzz. BernardGoldberg.com is a must-read. Next on the